Welcome back. Her victory in the November election drew scads of national attention. Now, with all the inaugural fanfare in her rearview mirror, Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo has turned her focus to governing the more than 4 million people she works for. With that, Judge Hidalgo, welcome back to the hot seat.
Thank you so much, Greg. Always good to be here.
Okay, this week Harris County accepted more than $900 million in federal flood relief funding. How will that money be spent, and how many residents do you hope to help?
Over $909 million coming from the federal government. We've been waiting for it to come through the federal government, to go through the general land office, and we finally accepted it. Those are mostly housing funds, so they will go toward repair, they will go toward rebuilding of homes, some buyouts, some building of new affordable housing in our county. So it's the largest investment of its kind we've had. And we hope it'll help everybody who qualifies for that program. We still have some funds that are unspent from even Ike. So with this tranche, we are absolutely committed to getting it out, getting it to the community as fast as possible. Up till now, it's all been up to the federal government, the General Land Office, but I'm very close communication with Commissioner Bush at the General Land Office to make sure that now that we have those funds, we can process them quickly, we can get them out to our community. Okay,
City of Houston has also received federal flood recovery money this week, and the council distributed $400 million to 6 contractors. Now, do you know whether impacted residents can apply for both county and city, or is it one or the other? That's a tough question. I probably should have called your staff, but
no, I've got the answer for you. So we're trying to be smart about it and make it easy for folks, because it is confusing. Folks have been applying for aid for a very long time. So what we're saying is, listen, apply. harrisrecovery.org, and we'll evaluate. If you live in the city of Houston, we'll direct you to the city's program. They'll direct, the city will direct you to our program if you're in unincorporated Harris County, but you don't have to figure that out. We'll work with you. We'll have caseworkers. If you don't qualify, we'll try and find what other resources might be available. Folks may not qualify if they've already gotten similar aid for something else, but as an example, the homeowner assistance program comes from within those $909 million. It'll be for folks who need to repair their homes. If the cost of the repair is over 50% of the value of the home, think about rebuilding. If they live in a buyout zone, as it's been defined by the county, we'll help them with a buyout. We'll help them find somewhere else to live. We also have a section for renters. Renters have been forgotten in the past, and so in this case, we're focusing on building new rental options. Renters who call, we can help them find alternative housing, help them maybe put them up somewhere meanwhile. But to answer your question, we're staffing up over the next month, so you'll be seeing a lot more movement starting in March, and making sure that we have the support to direct people where they need to be. Right now, folks need to start applying, and you'll be pre-registering as the aid begins flowing.
Judge, when you have this much money flowing, there is always the potential for waste and even fraud. What are you doing to try to ensure accountability?
Everybody's staffing up. So this is not the first time our Harris County Community Services Department does this. They had to manage a similar program during Ike. So there are lessons learned there. And I'm working very closely with our director there, with our folks at purchasing, the county engineer, all the different entities in the county to make sure we're learning from our experience, from other experiences around the country, and protecting ourselves. What's most important to us is making sure the community knows that these funds are available. So I'm here, telling folks, go on, harrisrecovery.org and apply, and we are making a major, multi-million-dollar investment in going into the communities, and that's being, ramped up over the next month, as I said. But we'll have centers in different communities. We'll be visiting specific communities that we know are hard hit, and we'll be inviting folks to submit their applications. We'll have great trained caseworkers, and right now the portal's already open, so folks can begin submitting their documents, so that once the money begins flowing, beginning of March, folks have already started down the process.
Real quickly, Judge, another component of flood protection, you're supporting new floodplain maps. Why is that necessary?
So we found that a lot of the folks that flooded during Harvey were living technically outside the floodplain. Well, it turns out the floodplain wasn't drawn accurately to rainfall standards. So what we're doing is working with FEMA, working with our flood control district to figure out what the accurate way of drawing the floodplain is, so that people, it's all about information. So people know that they're living in a floodplain. They know what kind of danger they're in. We're moving through that process as quickly as we can. It's got a lot of requirements through FEMA. We hope to have the new maps by 2021, really. But even now we're looking at, as we have that information, how can we begin informing residents even before the maps are formally drawn? So that's what I'm working on as well. Real
quickly, this week, District Attorney Kim Ogg reported that Harris County is diverting more defendants away from jail than any other jurisdiction in the country. Now, she coupled that by asking for a pretty bold 102 additional prosecutors. You seem to be receptive, but also wanting data that $20 million investment would be worth it. Can you talk about your position?
We know as a community we've got a ways to go in criminal justice. Jail is the largest mental health facility. The jail is overcrowded, huge disparities, racial and ethnic disparities. As a country, we've got major issues. We incarcerate more people than most other countries in the world. So it's hard to decide what the benchmarks are. We know we need to do better, and if we're making such a huge investment as $20 million a year in perpetuity for 102 new prosecutors, I want to see how does that get us to a better system. Is that truly what we need to have a system in which our mental health facility is the jail? Kim is a great colleague and friend, and I'm studying what the best use is of those very significant taxpayer funds.
Judge Hidalgo, thanks for coming on to the hot seat. We hope to have you back.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay. When we come back, the city of Houston is poised to shell out its share of Harvey relief too, $400 million worth. But will the help actually reach the folks who need it most? Our panel tackles the issue after the break.